static data layer. So the static data layer is used to store the static data of the system. In this case, a database consists of few tables which are used to keep the static data of the expert system. The data such as basic symptoms of various diseases and the places where the symptom can be occurred will be stored in this static database. So for an example, the symptom can be occurred in upper, middle or lower part of the human respiratory system. In this case, these data is stored in the static database. In addition to this, if any particular symptom cannot be occurred with the disease, these things will be also stored in the static database. So these static data will be used in diagnosing such a disease or come up with some kind of a conclusion in the system. Okay, here you can see some kind of a sample table structure of the system. So this is how the data is being stored inside the database. So you can see a sample table with the column names of diseases, symptoms, sub-symptoms, stages and time. And for one particular disease, the disease kata, you can see how the data or the information has stored. Here you can see the symptoms as fever. If it contains some sub-symptoms, maybe no, maybe some kind of sub-symptoms like productive cough or something, maybe the productive could be split. Likewise, the data is arranged or stored inside the static database. For this purpose, SQL Server database is used. So all necessary information related to the diseases, the places where diseases can be occurred are stored inside this database. Data acquisition layer. Now you know that the static data is stored in the database. But the special thing is, this data is not meaningful. So we have to create the knowledge from the static data which is stored in the database. In this case, we have used this data acquisition layer to achieve this goal. The data should be arranged in a manner which gives the meaningful form to the stored static data. This is a special class library defined by the implementation team which arranges the static data into a meaningful format. So in the process, several rules should be fired on the static database. When we are creating the knowledge from the data stored, these rules will be important. The rules which will be fired depend on the request made from the upper layer. In this case, if a diagnosing module will request some kind of a data from the static database, the data acquisition layer will arrange these data into some kind of a meaningful format and return it into the upper layer. Another important fact or feature of the data acquisition layer is the necessary data which is need to create the rules also stored in the database. We had a problem how the logical knowledge base should be created in a non-declarative way. So we have stored the basic data which is need to create the rules inside the static data layer. For the data acquisition layer, these static data can be used while it is creating the knowledge or the rules from the static data. In earlier, you have seen how the data is stored in the database against a particular disease. Now let's see, by using those data, how a rule can be implemented. Here you can see a sample rule. If we take a quick look at on this, if fever present, then pneumonia. So if cough present and if cough is productive cough, then it can be pneumonia. If productive cough is split, maybe kata. You can see for the same data, the rule is implemented using various conditions. The several conditions are applied while implementing or creating the rule. Knowledge creation layer. So we have introduced some new facts or new features to the proposed system. In this case, this is the module which is used to create the knowledge from the data entered by the user. In this case, the user might be a doctor or a medical student. A special format is given to the user to enter their inputs, and the doctor, maybe the medical student, should enter their knowledge or the experience they have gained during their clinical sessions using the format provided by the system. The data entered to the system are automatically stored in the static database of the system. The responsibility of the knowledge creation layer is to store the data in the database and